positive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome to your latest Chelsea news. And of course, welcome back to the home of the world champions. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. It was a good weekend for Chelsea. 2 great performances against Bayer Leverkusen and AC Milan. And we are ready to start the season on Sunday against Crystal Palace. But there is plenty to dive into, as always. If you're already locked in, big up to everyone. Smash up the like, subscribe if you're new around here. You lot know exactly what to do. Get involved in the chat. We've got a packed show, guys. All the latest on Xavi Simons and Christopher Nkunku with a rumoured swap deal potentially taking place between Chelsea and RB Leipzig. The latest on the future of Nicolas Jackson, whose preference would be a move to Newcastle this summer. All the latest on a search for a new centre-back as well. Links to Hincapié, which have been shut down. But will Chelsea or won't Chelsea go into the market for a new centre-half? Plus any other news that breaks whilst we are live. But before we get the show on the road, you lot know exactly what I'm going to say. But just a quick reminder, make sure you check out Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Get the home shirt, the away shirt, the third kit when it drops, names, numbers, patches, whatever you want on the back. Affordable prices, great quality. Make sure you're looking fresh throughout the summer and for the upcoming season. Link is in the description. Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. That is enough about that. Let's say hello to the people, and then we're going to get this show on the road. Big up to everyone. Can't wait for the Premier League season to start next week, this week even. Yeah, I agree. Nah, bro, I wouldn't be worried about the Simons deal. Yes, big up, bro, big up. Yes, big up. Yes, enjoyed yesterday's game very much. Yes, big up to the chat. Thank you, brother. Yes, all good, bro. Hope you're well. Brother. Yes, big up, bro. Big up to Cristiano Ronaldo in the house. Yes, up the Chelsea all day, every day. Rumours? What rumours? Donnarumma thoughts? Yeah, look, we need a new goalkeeper. We need an upgrading goal. I would be for it, but obviously the wages will be problematic, and the wages will stop any chance of that deal happening. The links to Hincapié, yeah, rumours that have been shut down pretty swiftly. Yes, big up, brother. I don't see it happening. Now, maybe Magic Mike was playing 3D chess. Come to Stamford Bridge, play shit, drop the asking price, bang, we go and do a deal for 12 or 15 million in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe he was, who knows? Yeah, I believe they'll be the final 2 signings of the window. That's my personal thoughts, that Simons and Garnacho will be the final 2. And of course, we've got the latest on Alejandro Garnacho as well. Up the Chelsea. Yes, big up. Magic Mike, yeah, he didn't have a great performance yesterday. Nah, bro, we need to relax on this. We need to relax. Well, yeah, apparently he does. But there's very conflicting reports. Some saying he's not open to it. Others saying he is open to it. Mate, why does this guy always do this? Must really enjoy his day doing that. Yes, big up, brother. Did I speak to you at all? Like, or not? Let me know. Or did you just see me? It was always nice to see people and chat and that. But yeah, bro, did I see you yesterday? We need a centre back. We do. Sanchez getting beaten at his near post as well. Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. Anyway, let's get into it. To be fair, bro, that wasn't Gusto's fault. And Gusto, to be fair, has been playing pretty well. Oh, we did. Was this after the game? Sorry, bro. I do speak to a few people. So yeah, big yourself up. And apologies if I, for some reason, I can't remember. But remind me. Yes, big up, brother. Anyway, let's get straight into it, guys. The main news regarding Xavi Simons, because this is the deal that Chelsea fans want done. This is the deal that, should be the next signing for us this summer. This should be the deal. However, it's still not done. And we know that. But obviously, yesterday afternoon, before the game, it was broken by The Guardian. And they were stating... I've got so many fucking tabs open. Bear with me, chat. Oh, yes. Chelsea are now pushing to include Christopher Nkunku as part of the deal for Xavi Simons, who they believe to be valued at £40 million. So, again, this was broken by The Guardian. Nah, bro, no need. But big yourself up, brother. Big yourself up. And, yeah, look forward to seeing you again at some point. This shit is Dragon Can't Lie really boring at this point. Bro, let's be perfectly real here. Most transfer sagas are pretty boring. You know, once the initial, your team's interested in XYZ player, all the updates after that are pretty boring. Do you remember how boring the Enzo Fernandez saga was? You know, initial excitement when you're linked with him. And then... you know, excitement when a deal gets close, and then you lose the excitement because it's all dragging on so far. And then when you eventually get the here we go and a done deal, it almost feels like a bit of an anti-climax. Obviously, with the Enzo one, a bit different. Caicedo one, a bit different. But generally speaking, from the moment you're linked and there's genuine, serious interest, all the updates are pretty insignificant and pretty shit, to be perfectly honest. Simons would cook in that team with Esteval next season. He would. Bro, I don't think Tosin was awful yesterday. I don't think he was awful. But look, we're going to get onto the defensive stuff after this. But yeah, I agree. I think it's blatantly obvious another centre-back is needed. Throw Simons' name out there to get fans excited all while going for Garnacho. No, bro, we'll definitely get both. We'll get both. Mate, the vibe at the bridge is massive. Genuinely, for the first time in a while, there's a lot of excitement surrounding the season. There's a feel-good vibe around the place. No negativity. You know, a lot of positive energy and stuff, and so yeah, no, this is the best feeling we've had going into a season for a couple of years. This is what I've said though, right? People, this is not directed at you, by the way, but people say, "Oh, we want updates, we want updates, we want updates," and then they moan when the updates are basically the same, because generally day to day there's very little change in the situation. But people have become sort of addicted to getting these transfer updates daily, sometimes 2-3 times daily. Nothing's really changing, guys. Nothing's really changing. Bro, we've got to stop doing this, by the way. We've got to stop doing this. It was Liam Delap after the Bayer Leverkusen game. It's Enzo Fernandez after this AC Milan game. Why is there a need for supporters to always go after someone? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, guys? Why is there a need to constantly... We've played 2 very good games in pre-season, 2 great results, played really good football, and people are wanting to pick players out. I thought everyone was pretty good against Leipzig. Not against Leipzig, sorry, against Leverkusen. I think everyone was pretty good against AC Milan as well. I didn't watch that game yesterday and think, Jesus, you know, so-and-so was struggling or so-and-so was shit. Why are people, and it's not everyone, but why are there certain fans that they've always got to put someone down after a game? Why? Bro, there is no new role for Enzo. Enzo's playing the same as what he was playing last season. You know, Enzo Fernandez was one of the most important players last season. You know, his best season since he joined the club, and he's a top quality player. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. So Chelsea are pushing to include Nkunku as part of the deal for Xavi Simons, and Chelsea believe that Simons is only worth 40 million. We know that Leipzig want a total package of 60 million pounds for Xavi Simons. I don't know if they're going to get that, to be perfectly honest. But the Nkunku deal to Leipzig, it does make sense. Of course it makes sense. Because we're getting rid of a forward. Leipzig are getting a replacement. They're getting a player they know. And Nkunku has had the best form of his career at RB Leipzig. The issue with Nkunku going back to Leipzig, chat, is that we've been told all along Nkunku wants Champions League football. He wants Champions League football. So I like, we're getting conflicting reports here. I don't know whether he does or doesn't want the move, but there are conflicting reports. Some saying that Nkunku interested, others saying he's not really interested. He wants Champions League football. But The Athletic this morning have dropped an article saying that Christopher Nkunku would be open to a return to RB Leipzig this summer if his former club's interest in a potential move advances. Now, two issues here for me, guys. One, there's lack of European football. I don't know if Leipzig have got European football at all. There's definitely no Champions League football. Maybe they got Europa League or Conference League. I don't know. But that's the first one. Secondly, how financially viable is a move to Leipzig, is Nkunku for RB Leipzig? Not in terms of a transfer fee, because we know they've received a lot of money for Sesko, they're going to receive money for Xavi Simons and whatnot. Not in terms of a transfer fee, but in terms of a financial package, in terms of wages, etc. Is that viable? Is that viable for a club like Leipzig? We know that Nkunku's wages, they're not going to be matched by Leipzig. I say at the very minimum, they'll be matched by Leipzig. He's not getting a pay rise there. Let's put it that way. There is zero pay rise for Nkunku going to Leipzig. It's the same, or it's only going down. That's the reality of this situation here. But I think what we're finding is, chat, two things in regards to Nkunku is that, one, maybe there's not as many clubs interested as we thought. Bayern Munich have always had interest. Kingsley Coman has now gone to Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League to link up with Cristiano Ronaldo, Joao Felix, and those guys. So they're going to be looking for a replacement. They still haven't replaced the fact that Jamal Musiala is going to be missing for for definitely half the season, maybe a bit more. Christopher Nkunku could then come into the thinking at Bayern Munich. However, they want Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart. So again, you're looking at clubs in Italy. We know Italian clubs are not going to give us anywhere near the money that we'd want for Nkunku. And then you get a little deal like this. If RB Leipzig were in Champions League football, I would say this is 90%. This would 90% be likely to happen. If RB Leipzig Champions League football, then for me, yeah, that's a no-brainer that this one probably happens. The fact that they don't have Champions League football is going to be a bit of an issue for Nkunku. He wants to play Champions League. It's a World Cup year. Obviously, he'd be a regular at Leipzig. No doubt about it. But, I mean, chat, can someone check for me? What have Leipzig got any European football next season? Can someone check for me whilst we're discussing this? I would look myself, but yeah. If someone could check what football Leipzig have got next season in terms of Europe, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. So please do let me know. Please do let me know, chat. Because that's going to be a big difference. But look, in theory and on paper, guys, this ticks all the boxes. It makes sense. But how many times, right? How many times have we been down this road before with no Europe at all? Oh, fair. It's not even no Champions League. It's zero Europe at all. Yeah, that's pretty shit. Yeah, that's tough for those guys. That's where now I'm a little bit like, maybe this isn't happening. Maybe this isn't happening. Look, it makes sense, but as I was saying, it makes so much sense for all involved in terms of from the club side, but is Nkunku prepared to not play any European football for one season? Are there any guarantees that Leipzig get their shit together and get back into the Champions League spaces next season? I mean, it couldn't be any more perfect. Simons one way, Nkunku the other way. But ever since this ownership came in, guys, how many times have we seen potential swap deals or swap deal, but it's two separate transactions, but they're not linked, but they obviously are linked? How many times have we seen this with Chelsea under the ownership? And how many times has it happened? Zero. Absolutely zero times has it happened, chap. This is the thing. This is the thing. It's happened zero times. And so when you see these things, often when something seems too good to be true, that's often the case. That is often the case. If something's too good to be true, then the chances are it probably is. But then we've got reports in Germany saying that Leipzig aren't considering Nkunku as part of the deal for Xavi Simons. Nkunku no longer fits into their salary structure as he earns 20 million euros a year. Simons to Chelsea is still absolutely possible if they meet the 70 million euro demand. That's according to German publication Bild. So a lot of conflicting reports here from various different sources. No, absolutely not. But I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. I think the truth would lie somewhere in the middle. Without doubt, there is interest from Leipzig in Nkunku. There was interest in they've had interest in Tyreek George as well. Obviously, they explored a move for Carney Chukwuemeka, but that one hasn't happened. That one hasn't happened. Kellyman was kind of that was the last one really. You very rarely get the issues. Bring me Simons, bro. Me and you both. It was the issue with yesterday's game. What was the issue of yesterday's game? So yeah, look, I'm for this, and I'm for this, and I think it would definitely make sense. The fact he'd be open to the return is great. And if he is genuinely open to the return, then you could see this happening. However, there's still a long way to go. But Nkunku wants Champions League football. That's what we've always been told, chat. That's what we've always been told. So unless something's changed, and look, this was from this morning as well. Unless something's changed, guys, let me just bring this up now. So, intermediaries proposed a swap for Nkunku and Xavi Simons. Nkunku is aiming to play for a Champions League club next season. That's why, chat, I'm slightly skeptical about this. Because, yeah, it ticks all the boxes. Yes, it makes sense. But unless Nkunku suddenly decided he's not I don't know. Unless he decided that he doesn't want to play Champions League football, or he's that desperate to return. I don't know. But anyway, this article's saying Chelsea have offered several players to RB Leipzig for midfielder Xavi Simons, including Nkunku. It's part of the complex negotiations with the Blues keen to offload players, having also offered both Chukwuemeka and George. Any deal between the two clubs would not be a direct swap deal and would be related but separate transfers. Yeah, standard. It remains to be seen whether the German club deem it viable. However, the negotiation highlights Chelsea's intention to offload attackers to sign attackers. Sources close to Nkunku have also explained he's reluctant to join a club like Leipzig as he's aiming to play at Champions League level next season. There's admiration for Nkunku at Chelsea after his positive performances at the Club World Cup, but he's believed to be searching for more than a bit part role currently on offer at Stamford Bridge. So yeah. It's clear now, when we were discussing, Chelsea need outgoings, in order to get Simons, in order to get Garnacho and whatnot, it's very much specifically relating to attacking outgoings. It's not relating to outgoings in general. I thought, maybe it was just outgoings in general. And we got rid of Ugachukwu, Dewsbury Hall, Broja, all went last week. But this is clearly in a reference to attackers going out. So it's clear that Chelsea are looking to create space in the squad first before before they can add Simons and before they can add Garnacho. That's what we're looking at here. So Nkunku or Garnacho, Nkunku and Jackson, chat, are both going to have to leave. Well, definitely one of them needs to leave in order for this to come to fruition, chat. One of them needs to leave. So that's where we are. That's where we are with Nkunku. But what I think is very clear, guys, what we can clearly say here is there will be no incomings before Jackson and Nkunku leave. So anybody expecting, Simons, here we go, or Garnacho, here we go, or whatever. That needs to be put on the back burners. Little Alexander Isak celebration, back burners like that for these deals, because none of those deals are going to come to fruition, guys, until Nkunku goes and until Nicolas Jackson goes. I still think out of the two, Nkunku is more likely to leave than Jackson. But this is where we are, guys. This is where we are right now. Conflicting reports on it, but ultimately, no one's coming in until Nkunku and Jackson leave. And that is that. But there is interest from Leipzig. It's been discussed. We wait and see from that point onwards what is going to happen. Tyreek George again. Maybe you can involve him in some sort of deal. I don't know where he's going to go. Interest from Germany, interest from Belgium. There's interest from a lot of places in Tyreek George, guys. Interest from a lot of places. By the way, people, over 220 in the building. Big up your damn selves. Smash up the likes. We're 20 likes away from 100. Let's get this to 100 likes ASAP and keep smashing the like button as well. Subscribe. Also, chat, if you're new around here, we're racing towards 18K. Please do subscribe if you're new. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. We're 248 away from 18K. So run it up, and smash these likes up to 100, guys. But all options are on the table for Tyreek George. All options are on the table for George. So we will we'll wait and see what happens in regards to his future. But yeah, look, it's a busy, what is it? Last 2 weeks, last sort of 3 weeks of the window. Just shy of 3 weeks left in the transfer window, guys. It's going to be busy. And these incomings are hinging on both Nkunku and Jackson leaving the football club. So there we go. That is the latest on that situation. And the Xavi Simons deal is not in jeopardy, guys. It will. I'm still confident it gets done, as I've always maintained. However, there'll be no progress on anything until Chelsea have got rid of at least one player. At least one player. So that's the situation. That's the situation that we're in. That is the situation that we're in. Yes, run it up. No, I don't see Bayern hijacking the deal. If they were going to hijack the deal, they would have already moved. I think they know that Simons wants Chelsea, and Simons will get Chelsea. Simons will get Chelsea. Palace is a massive game, exactly. So yeah, look, that's the latest on the Xavi Simons situation with Nkunku and whatnot. No, we didn't beat him. 2 draws. 2 draws. Nah, bro, no. I'll be real, it's not happening. That's also the case as well. That is also the case as well. 100% that's the case. No doubt about it, chat. No doubt about it whatsoever. With how things are looking, I don't know how much longer Xavi will want Chelsea. No, bro, I think, look, Chelsea will be informing him of the situation. I don't think any of this will be coming as a surprise to Xavi Simons. I don't think any of this coming as a surprise. No, I think Simons has agreed personal terms. It might not have been reported, but there's no way, in my personal opinion, there's no way that with all these negotiations that are going on, there's no way that personal terms haven't been agreed. But I'm not worried about it. So we wait and we continue our look for more updates, chat. But yeah, as we've said, the situation is the situation, people. But let's move on to the defensive situation. Let's move on to the defensive situation, because this is an interesting one, a very interesting one, guys. The big question that is probably this is probably the most important thing right now for the remainder of the window, is the Levi Colwill. Do we replace Levi Colwill? Because Chelsea, according to the BBC, again, Romano has said something slightly different. Chelsea remain reluctant to enter the market for a centre-back replacement for Levi Colwill. There remains a slight possibility they enter the market, but it would require the sale of Trevor Chalobah, the only defender they're open to selling. So, according to this, the only way that Chelsea would move for another defender is if they sell Chalobah. So, that makes no sense whatsoever. Why on earth would you just wouldn't do that? You just wouldn't do that at all. You just wouldn't do that at all. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, that makes zero sense. I don't understand what the thinking would be behind that. You don't sell a defender to bring another defender in, because then you're literally just stood still in exactly the same place. The whole point of going to bring another defender in is that you increase your numbers. You wouldn't sell someone to bring another defender in to leave you with the same amount of defenders you had in the first place. So that for me is, I'm just like, what sense does that make? Chalobah wants to be at Chelsea. Chelsea aren't looking to sell Chalobah. Literally ridiculous. Literally ridiculous. Yeah, Disasi and Vega are both going. Ansel Mino will go on loan. We know this. So why you wouldn't do that? You wouldn't do that, chat. You absolutely wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. So that was that there. There remains a slight possibility they enter the market. Okay. There were then further updates in regards to Josh Achimpong. Because there were loan inquiries from Crystal Palace, and I think there's been a loan inquiry from Bournemouth earlier in the window as well. But Josh Achimpong is very unlikely to go out on loan after Levi Colwill's injury. Chelsea's stance is that he's not for sale, as his stock remains very high internally. I agree. I agree. With the situation we found ourselves in now, there's no way that Achimpong should be going on loan. But in my view, there's also no way that he should be playing every week. There's also no way that should be the case either. He should be a squad option, a rotation option. And this is where I am. This is where I'm at with it, chat. If Colwill was out for half the season, stick with what you've got. He's going to miss pretty much the whole season. Toss-in Chalobah partnership, I'm a little bit unsure, particularly when it's got to be for the whole season pretty much. Achimpong and Trev, Achimpong and Tosin. Again, that to me doesn't scream title winning or title challenging centre-back pairing. I'm a massive fan of Trevor Chalobah. Love him. Chelsea through and through. Think he's top quality, massively underrated. But what we're saying here is, guys, is that if we stick with what we've got, Tosin and Chalobah are basically going to have to play the majority of the games. Achimpong would play some games. That's a big ask. A big ask for a teenager like him, talented, of course, to step in and play in a very demanding position in the Premier League for one of the best teams who are looking to make a title challenge. That's a huge ask. The other issue we've got is the other alternatives, the other defenders we've got in Wesley Fofana and Benoit Badiashile have proven that they cannot stay fit, chat, to save their lives. They cannot stay fit for a sustained period of time at all. So you look at it and you're like, right, okay. If our other options were more reliable, if Fofana was more reliable and could stay fit for most of the season, if what's his face, Badiashile could get back to some sort of decent form and show that he could stay fit, then we're in a different situation. But because the other options we've got are so unreliable, in my view, it makes signing another centre-back an absolute necessity. An absolute necessity, it makes it. Yeah, Maresca said he might be fit for Palace. Wes hasn't played football since Arsenal away, I think, was the last time he played, and a back in the last season. Arsenal away, and a back in the last season. He's played no matches in the Club World Cup. He wasn't in the squad for either of the friendlies on Friday or Sunday. He's not suddenly just going to be chucked straight back in to the mix, straight off the bat. Yeah, Reece has been managed well, and now he's looking like he's come out the other side of those fitness issues. And we have to hope it's going to be the same for Fofana and the same for Badiashile. But Fofana's not going to be ready to come straight in, bang, day one, go straight into the team. That's not going to happen. That just isn't going to happen. Yeah. Chelsea basically froze Achimpong out until he signed it, unless he was going to sign a new contract. That's exactly what happened. Bro, that's just a pointless gamble. Why gamble half a season when you don't need to? Why would you gamble half a season? That's what I'm saying. Look, that's why the obvious one is you go and get Mark Guehi. Minimal to no adaptation period. Chelsea boy, knows the Premier League, comfortable in a 2, back 4, comfortable in a back 3, brings leadership quality, Premier League experience, literally ticks all the boxes. As I said yesterday after the game, if you're going to bring a centre-half in, there's no point bringing in 19, 20, 21 years of age from Italy, Spain, Germany, Portugal, because there's going to be a big adaptation period. What you need to go and do is get yourself Mark Guehi. It's the most obvious solution, and it's the solution which makes the most sense. No, he wasn't. I don't know where people have got this from. He played the whole game. No, we shouldn't panic buy. No, absolutely, but it wouldn't be a panic buy. If we went for Mark Guehi, it wouldn't be a panic buy. It wouldn't be a panic buy. Look, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm also not 100% ruling it out either. If he wants Liverpool, fair enough. But in my view, we should absolutely be trying. And look, I've not heard any injury news on Guehi. If he was taken off, then okay, fine. But I don't think that's a serious injury or anything to be concerned about in regards to a in regards to him not being able to sign for someone. Guehi will leave Crystal Palace this window. Steve Parish has basically said as much himself. Bro, Guehi's not unrealistic. People that say Bastoni and all this lot, that's ridiculous. But Guehi's not unrealistic. That, for me, is the most realistic option out there for us if we decide to go for someone. You know, for all the reasons that I've stated. He's also nowhere near as bad as what people make out. People making out like he's some sort of Sunday league player. Bro, we're not going to get Silva. We're not going to get Silva. But look, we'll wait and see what happens. We'll find out in the next 18, 19, 20 days what we decide to do. But for me personally, I agree that the answer shouldn't be to always buy every time. It shouldn't be. Bro, he's England's best centre-back. He's England's best centre-back. He's a very good footballer. I don't understand where this Guehi hate comes from. It's probably because he's English at the end of the day. If Guehi wasn't English or didn't come from Cobham, then people would be rating him very, very differently. There seems to be, for some unknown reason, from a lot of fans, like there seems to be a disdain against English players and a disdain against players that come from Cobham. You know, it's a real strange one for me. Who said he? I never said he was better than Colwell, but you're going to struggle to get someone better than Colwell very quickly. You're going to struggle. Bro, look who's playing for England more regularly. Guehi is playing for England more regularly than Colwell. And so right now, Colwell can definitely be better than Guehi for sure, and probably will be better than Guehi, absolutely. But right now, you know, he's in Thomas Tuchel's mind and in general, Guehi is England's top centre-back at this point in time. Levi Colwell's still relatively inexperienced with the national team. But we're not going to get more. That's the whole point. Like, who do people think is going to arrive? Who do people think we're getting if we go and get someone? Bro, Colwell's going to miss the majority of the season. You know, he's going to miss 7 months at least. So what is it? September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Looking at an April, maybe. So if Colwell came back this season, which I think personally is unlikely, you might see him come back and he might feature in a handful of games towards the end of the season. Bro, John Stones is fell off a cliff now. Stones was England's best centre-back for a number of years. Top player. Has been really, really good. He's been plagued by injuries and he has taken a nosedive recently. There's no denying that. No, he's not a starter at Man City anymore. And right now, at this point in time, Guehi's a better defender, in my opinion, than John Stones is. Because John Stones is always injured and his form has dipped off. Bro, this is the thing. You can't gamble on that. You can't gamble on that. No, exactly. There's not. There's not many options that fit. And it's important that you make the right decision. And it's important... Right, people can rate who they want, but let's try and be objective. Guehi's not a bad player. Is absolute nonsense and agendas of the highest order if people are saying that Guehi is not good. It's just complete rubbish. It's complete nonsense. You can think other players are better and other players are better. But to objectively say that Mark Guehi is not a good centre-back and is not a good footballer is complete nonsense. It's complete and utter nonsense. It really is. People can rate who they want. It doesn't bother me who people rate and don't rate. But let's try and be objective here. Let's try and actually be fair here. Gurhi's not a bad footballer. If you don't want him at Chelsea, that's fine, not a problem. But for people to objectively come out here and say, oh, he's shit, you know, he's not a good footballer, it's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. Bro, again, massive money. And this late in the window, you know, I don't think Forest are going to sell. I don't think Forest are going to sell, you know. This is the thing. You've got to make sure you don't panic buy. Do not panic buy. That is the biggest thing. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see, right, if Mark Gurley goes to Liverpool and plays really well, will these same people still be saying that he's shit? Because if Gurley goes to Liverpool, it'll be a success and he'll play very well. And so, will he still be shit then when he's doing it at Liverpool? We will be here and we will be waiting. You know, bro, do you know how mental that sounds? That you'd rather go with an 18-year-old with very little experience than a 25-year-old England international? That doesn't make sense. Why would you stick with a teenager who's got limited experience to instead of going with an England international? Because there wasn't space for him in the team at the time he was coming through. When did we sell him? 2021. He made a couple of appearances in the team. I mean, I can't remember who the centre backs were back in 2021. I don't know who they were. I can't remember. But again, teams make mistakes. You know, it does happen. But I just think I just think that's a massive gamble. I just think that personally for me is a gamble that you don't need to take. Why would you take that gamble? You know, if Fofana could stay fit, then it's far less of a gamble. But the matter remains, he can't. I don't think people understand how important Levi Colwill is to the way that we play. People don't understand it, how important he is to the way that we play. The way that he brings the ball out, the way that, you know, all these things that he does. He's so important to what we do, chat. And as look, Palace will sell. Of course they will. Palace will sell. You know, Steve Parish has said it as much himself. Let's get the Steve Parish quotes up on Mark Gurley, the Crystal Palace chairman. Let's get them up. Let's get them up, chat. Because he said as such. Let me just bring them now. Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish and Mark Gurley. Of course, for players of that calibre to leave on a free, it's a problem. It needs a new contract or a conclusion of some kind. Gurley won't sign a new deal and exit in the final 20 days is likely. So Gurley is going to leave. Gurley's going to leave. And so But bro, Tosin and Chalobah can't play. Do you honestly think that Tosin and Chalobah can play? Tosin and Chalobah with Achimpong as backup is going to be enough for us? It's not. It isn't, in my opinion. And I just think it's a big gamble. Obviously, if you can't look for the situation we're in right now, I would rather have Mark Guehi in the situation that we're in, because Hincapié, again, we're not interested in him. By the way, those rumors were shut down straight away when they came out yesterday. For the exact scenario that we're in right now, Mark Guehi is a more beneficial signing for us than Hincapié would be. I mean, Hincapié played on Friday night against us. He started for Leverkusen. I would for this exact situation, I would rather have Guehi because he ticks more boxes for us. But this is kind of my fears. This is kind of my fears. Because let's be real, Badiashile, as much as I do like him, he hasn't shown anything really in his since those first 6 months at the club where he played really well. His first 6 months at the club, he played really well, and then since then he's been plagued by injury issues, and he's not reached anywhere near those levels. So if he went into that in the Champions League, I think that's a problem. Bro, you're not going to play Cucurella as a starting centre-back. Yeah, of course he is. No one's saying he's not. But the problem is, Fofana, he's been here 3 years. I don't even think he's played 50 fucking games for us, chat. Nah, what the fuck's this? It's so. Oh, hold on a second. What's going on here, chat? What's going on here? Are we about to get gazumped? Chat, have we got a problem here? Oh, fuck. Chat, we might have a problem. I don't know how true this is. Because this Sacha guy, in fairness, this Sacha Taglieri, he's been pretty good this summer. Obviously, yesterday he put something out about Al Nassr potentially looking at Ferran Torres, in which Fabrizio shut that down within about 5 minutes of it coming out. He's been very good this summer. Obviously, not everything has been right. This could be a problem. This might be an issue, chat. By the way, it's not a certain issue. It's not a certain issue, but it could be an issue, potentially. Exclusive. Manchester City enter the race for Xavi Simons. With the likely departure of Savinho, the citizens have re-established contact with super agent Ali Barat in an attempt to lure Xavi away from Chelsea. On the CFC side, talks are still on. Nothing changes. Ongoing discussion and mutual interest to finalise a deal. Now, look, by the way, we don't even know if this is true to begin with. We don't know if this is true. And it also doesn't mean that this is definitely going to happen. It also doesn't mean that. But it does also show, and we know this, if you take your time and you sort of F about with stuff, then you run the risk of other clubs coming in to the mix. You run the risk of that happening. And that's not a situation you want to be in, chat. That's not a situation you want to be in. Hang on a second. bro, this has not even happened yet. This has not even happened yet. We don't even know if this is true. We don't even know if this is true. So let's hold fire a little bit on this. We're taking this as gospel that City have entered the race, and people are taking it as, oh my God, City are going to sign him. You know, let's relax a little bit here for a second, chat. If this did happen, and if it goes off, and it's wrong, and Simons goes to Man City instead, or we get hijacked or whatever, fine. No problem. I hold my hands up. I was wrong, you know? I was wrong on it. I don't know what it is. I mean, City, though, also, by the way, Savinho would need to leave. Now, Savinho to Tottenham looks like it's on, and Savinho to Spurs looks like it's gathering a bit of pace. And Simons would potentially be a Savinho replacement. However, again, I'm still not 100% sure that this is going to happen, chat. This is one journalist reporting this at the moment. Let's see if this gets backed up by anyone else. Let's see if this is backed up by anyone else. Because that's the most important thing. Is this backed up by anyone else? Because if this is just one journalist saying this, I'm not saying that they can't be right, but you would expect this to be validated or shut down very quickly if it's not true. If it's true, you'd expect more people to be reporting this. So let's just hang fire and let's just relax on this for a second, guys. Where's this? Let's have a look at this Ed Aarons situation. Let's have a look at the Ed Aarons situation. Is that fresh from Ed Aarons? Let's have a look. But yeah, guys, I'm look again. I'm not too concerned about this. I'm not overly concerned, guys. I'm really not. Let's relax. People are like losing their mind. Oh my God, he's gone. We're going to lose him. Again, I'm not really sure why. Well, look, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. But I think there's a lot of people who are jumping the gun here, chat. A lot of people who are jumping the gun. If we miss out on Xavi Simons, then there'll be major questions asked and there'll be a lot of criticism that comes in for it. However, we are still a long way away, guys, from being in a situation where we miss out on Simons and he goes elsewhere. We're still a long way from that situation. We are still a long way from that situation. So everyone that's losing their mind, relax yourselves. Relax yourselves. Why is there some sort of meltdown because Man City might enter the race for him? What is that about? But yeah, guys, we're 250 in the building. We're only on 135 likes. Smash up that like button. Get this to 150 likes. Let's get this to 200 likes, chat. Minimum. Let's get this up to 200 likes. Smash that like button. It really helps me out more than you can imagine, more than you can believe, guys. So make sure you are smashing the likes. And please do subscribe as well. Now, he's got some things wrong, but to be honest, most of this summer, he has been actually pretty good, in fairness. Bro, Rafinha is not like Rafinha at all. We agreed a fee with Leeds. Rafinha's preference was always to join Barcelona. That it's not similar to the Rafinha thing at all. I don't know why Eman keeps doing this. Every stream, it's a fucking Xavi Simons, here we go. And it's not come. You know, it's not come. But yeah, look, let's chill out about this, guys. Let's chill out about this. I'm still confident Simons comes. If we look back on this and it ends up being wrong and we miss out, serious questions are asked, chat. Serious questions are asked if we miss out. Anyway, I don't think there's anything to be concerned about in regards to that one. We obviously discussed centre-backs. Let's move on and let's talk about... Oh, no, we haven't quite finished there. People that have been going on about Hincapié, there was a report in the Daily Mail that saying Chelsea admired Piero Hincapié. Ben Jacobs come out and shut that down. Understand links of Chelsea and Bayer Leverkusen's Piero Hincapié are wide of the mark. No approach has or will be, made. So anyone getting gassed up for Hincapié, there's been no approach, and we won't make an approach, according to Ben Jacobs on this one. Bro, we're not going to miss out. We're not going to miss out. People just seem to get very... I don't need to do anything if we miss out on Simons. I'm confident we get the Simons deal done. People are panicking from one thing they've seen that's not been backed up or corroborated by anyone else. You know, why? You know, it doesn't make sense. Well, clearly, Chelsea seem to rate him, you know. And, I'm not really sure as to what's going on here. I'm not really sure as to what's going on in regards to Badiashile, but he's injured anyway. He's not available to the start of September. No, I don't believe so. No one legit has corroborated that. Yes. Big up. I don't think it has, but personal terms are agreed on both. Araujo, there's no links with Araujo in Barcelona. I'm not sure where that's coming from. So, we'll see. We will see. We'll see, chat. We'll see. Exactly. Why is everyone so stressed about this deal? It'll happen, chat. It will happen. And we can all celebrate it when it does happen. And when this more than likely probably turns out to be nonsense, guys. When this more than likely turns out to be nonsense, it's all fine. But anyway, nothing with Hincapié. And it still remains to be seen whether Chelsea will sign one. Enzo Maresca, according to Fabrizio, is pushing for a new centre-back. So, yeah, let's wait and see. But anyway, let's move on to another important situation. Let's move on to another important situation, and that's the future of Nicolas Jackson. That is the future of Nicolas Jackson. So, Nicolas Jackson favours a move to Newcastle should he leave during this transfer window. However, the forward's chances of securing the transfer largely appear dependent on whether Newcastle relent and sell Alexander Isak to Liverpool. So, according to the Telegraph, Jackson favours a move to Newcastle. Newcastle, I think it's been said, would be prepared to pay around £65 million for him. Chelsea, I think, would drop that fee. Probably to 65 million. But again, this all depends on whether Isak goes. And would Newcastle pay £65 million for Nico Jackson? Would they do that? I don't know. We're going to get onto the Garnacho stuff as well. But this is an interesting one, chat. This is a very interesting one, I must say. A very interesting one. Yeah, I don't think that is the case. I don't think that is the case. Bro, we're not. Look, let's chill out on the Xavi stuff. It's not happening, guys. Let's relax. But yeah, look, Nico Jackson, again, one for the final weeks of the window. Apparently, it's over between him and Chelsea. And I don't see him going to Italy. And I don't see him going anywhere else. So, for me, it very much is Newcastle or he stays. You know? Let's wait and see. But for me, if Nico Jackson is going to a Premier League club, it's Newcastle or bust. Will Juventus come in? Juventus, the reports with Juventus have always been if they shift on Dusan Vlahovic. But again, there's been no indications that Juventus are going to move on Dusan Vlahovic. So it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. You know, it's been reported that if Jackson doesn't leave, Chelsea would welcome him back into the first team picture. I think it's going to be an interesting one, this. I think it's an interesting one. Simon Phillips reporting that we're taking steps to get Laporte. I mean, Laporte is available out from Al Nassr. We know that. Let me have a look at this. That would be an interesting option as well. Let me have a look. Where's he reporting this? It's not on Twitter, is it? Where's that being reported? Is that on his Substack or his newsletter, or is it? Is that true? Bro, Laporte's leaving, by the way. But Laporte is leaving. He's leaving Al Nassr. It's over with Laporte and Al Nassr. But yeah, we I've not seen anything of that. Where's that been reported? Is that on the Substack or whatever? Look, if that was the case, I would probably go with Delap. If that was the case, but I don't think it really is as simple as that. But yeah, look, I'm fascinated to see where Nico Jackson is going to end up, chat. Really am fascinated to see where he's going to end up. Prefers the move to Newcastle, but Newcastle will only move for Jackson if Isak goes. If Isak goes, Newcastle will move for Jackson, reportedly. That is reportedly the case. And again, Ed Aarons in The Guardian from yesterday. Chelsea had valued Jackson at 80 mil, but are likely to accept a reduced fee of around £65 million. Newcastle interested, but want to see if Liverpool make a new bid for Isak. So, no, bro, Xavi Simons has not gone to Man City. No, Xavi Simons' deal is not off, guys. Xavi Simons is not off. Deal not off. Let's all chill out for a sec. Let's all relax ourselves, guys. Xavi Simons to Man City. No, it's not happening. And City, you know, it's easy clicks that. Easy clicks. No, Newcastle were going for Sesko because that was going to be the Isak replacement. You know, they wanted to get a striker. They want to get a striker in before going for Isak, before letting Isak go. I mean, Laporte at Al Nassr, he struggled a lot with injury recently. He struggled a lot with injury. Al Nassr don't want him anymore. And Laporte's agreed personal terms with to return to Athletic Bilbao. But again, there's been no fee agreed between Bilbao and Al Nassr. So, yeah. Yeah, Newcastle have been linked to Samu as well. So, yeah. Look, from all the reports, I'm still expecting Nico Jackson to leave. But I don't know where. I think what we need to accept, chat, and understand probably what is most likely here is we know we're not going to get 80 mil. We're not going to get 80 mil. I can't see it. 65 or 70 million. Yeah. 65, 70 million pounds. I think, yeah, okay, that's possibly doable. Again, with Villa, only if Watkins leaves. But it's not looking like Watkins is going to leave. Look, for me, 65's got to be the bare minimum. Bare minimum. You do not accept anything less than 65 million pounds for Nico Jackson. You don't. You definitely don't. You definitely don't, chat. Well, probably because he wants out. That's probably why, guys. That's probably why. People keep smashing up the likes. We're on 156. Let's get this to 200 likes before the end of the show. You've got this, guys. You've definitely got this. So, yeah, run up the like button. Would be greatly appreciated. So, smash those likes and keep subscribing as well if you're new around here. Road to 20K, but first up, road to 18,000 first. And we're getting ever closer, guys. So, please do smash the likes. Please do subscribe as well. It really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, look, I agree. I agree that the centre-back. Because of that point, it hadn't been made clear that Jackson wanted out or that Jackson had told Chelsea that he wanted to leave. That's why. I always maintained. I thought Jackson was going to stay. And the only way that he wouldn't stay is if he told the club that he wanted out. That has now come to light on Friday that he told the club that he wants to leave. So the expectation now is that he leaves. I personally feel that we should keep him, but obviously that's seemingly done now. Seemingly done. Yeah, I agree. And look, if Jackson did go to Newcastle, I think he'd do very well, guys. I think Jackson would do very, very well if he goes to Newcastle. Very, very well. You know, that's where we're at. So we'll see, chat. We will see. Possibly, but again, we don't know what other clubs might come in for him. You know, clubs might wait till towards the end of the window to show their hand, to try and get the cheapest deal possible. You know, that's how these things tend to work. But yeah, if it's the Premier League, it's going to be. If it's the Premier League, it's Newcastle or no one in my view. I don't see anyone else going for him. I don't see anyone else going for him. So yeah, that's the latest with that situation. Is that, you know, Chelsea probably will reduce their asking price, and then we will, and then we wait and see from there. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees that Jackson does leave, but obviously it's definitely looking towards that way. But again, you know, offers have got to come in, and so far no offers have come in. The Newcastle offer, which is reportedly his preferred move, that's dependent on Isak going. I don't see anyone else in the Premier League going for Jackson at that point. And then you're looking at, we've heard about AC Milan, we've heard about Juventus. They're not going to meet £65 million. Will Chelsea sell cheaper abroad? Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, all options sit on the table. Yes, big up, brother. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're doing well. I need to get, bro. I don't know if I've got time to be doing so many different platforms. I don't know if I've got time for so many different platforms. Let's see. Look, it seems unlikely with all the news that we've had, but as we've said, never say never in a transfer market. Never say never. That would appear to be the case, but I can't see the Italian clubs paying the money for him. Yeah, those are the outgoings that are left, I think. Those are the outgoings that are left, guys. Don't see it. Don't see it at this stage. Again, can't fully be ruled out late in the window. Then we will see. Then we will see. They are, yes. Sanchez has improved. Yes. But it doesn't mean that he's good enough, but he has improved. Agreed. I would agree to an extent. However, we need one of Jackson or Nkunku to go in order to get Simons in. That's the thing. That's the thing, chat. Anyway, let's move on to another divisive topic, another people's favourite topic. And that man, Alejandro Garnacho. That man, Alejandro Garnacho. Because move is imminent. Let me just bring this up now. Anyway, let's just shut down the nonsense about Man City coming for Simons, because I think we can basically shut that down. Man City considering a move for Rodrigo after imminent exits. Grealish gone, McAtee and Savio can leave. Manchester City see Rodrigo as dream target. There we go. Done and dusted. Simons is not going there. Simple. If Savio goes to Spurs, they'll look to get Rodrigo. That's it, guys. So let's chill out. Let's chill out on that Simons shit with City. Anyway, we're talking Garnacho here, chat. Formal offers expected imminently. Formal offer is expected imminently, chat. Let me just bring this up now. Alejandro Garnacho patiently waiting for his move to Chelsea to happen later in the window. So this is obviously something from Instagram. That picture that people are talking about, reportedly, that's from 2023, apparently. That's not recently. That's apparently from 2023. Would have been, what, 19 at that point? Not ideal, of course. Not an ideal situation to be in. But that reportedly is not a recent picture. Now, yes, apparently not recent, from 2023, supposedly. Supposedly from 2023. Not excusing it. Not excusing it at all. But it's not recent like people are trying to make out. No, I don't think so. I don't think so personally. Someone's saying that something else come. Let's have a look. Chelsea continue to work on Xavi Simons deal. I mean, people want... I'm going to read it out now. People are sick of the same updates, and then people always ask for updates. So here's another update. Chelsea continue to work on Xavi Simons deal. Xavi wants Chelsea. Chelsea are trying to find the right structure with a solution for Nkunku the priority. For Nkunku, he could be open to rejoining Leipzig if there is a good proposal. There we are. That's it. Yes, big up, bro. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We spent a while talking centre backs, but yeah, look, I agree. That is a bit of a concern. No doubt about it. Crystal Palace to play Conference League. Yeah, look, they've been made an example of. They've been done dirty. You can guarantee if it was a Chelsea, City, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, that case would have gone very differently. The case would have gone differently. Bro, I agree. I agree as well. City don't want Xavi Simons. Yeah, bro, there's plenty of time for that. That's on Sunday. It's only Monday. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later in the week. We'll get to that later in the week, chat. People, we're 25 likes away from 200. Keep smashing that like button. Let's get these final 25 likes boxed off. people are wanting updates all the time. People are wanting updates all the time. Anyway, look, the Garnacho situation, that's happening, chat. That's happening. It's the question of when, not if. Now, apparently a bid is imminent. A bid is imminent, apparently, for Garnacho. So yeah, that's obviously going to be one. That's the way that it's going to go. So someone's offended by the Garnacho picture on the screen. No, bro, we're discussing. We're discussing. That's how it goes. We are discussing. Bro, we haven't done a bid for the Garnacho. Bro, City aren't hijacking. It's not happening. I think we'll finish third. Champions League, I think we've got to be targeting quarterfinals. So I'll go top 3 in the league, and then quarterfinals of the Champions League will be my best. Bro, I think the team that played yesterday will be the team that pretty much starts against Palace. Yeah, I think that'll be the team that starts against Palace, chat. That's my thoughts on it. I think that'll be the team that starts against Palace. Oh, there's more. There's more. There's more, chat. There's more. Let me find it. So many notifications. Right. Here we are. Garnacho is waiting in the background to move to Chelsea. Chelsea's priority right now, Jackson and Nkunku out, working on Simons' deal also. So, yeah, Garnacho's just waiting. Garnacho's waiting. Oh, look, obviously, we need to, I'll add to that, we need to win a domestic cup. Whether it's League Cup or FA Cup, we also need a domestic cup this season. Well, what do you mean always got loads of Chelsea tickets? Does he? I don't think he does. Well, what do you mean he's always got tickets? Bro, Garnacho's not going to fail his Chelsea medical. Look, at the end of the day, guys, Garnacho's signing. So we can have our reservations about it. Whatever. Reality is that when he signs and when he's through the door and he's wearing that blue shirt, we have to get behind him and support him. That's what I'll be doing. That's our job as fans, our duty as fans. If people are going to just be against him and not even support him from day one, I just think that's mad. Despite whatever your thoughts are, you should be supporting every player that plays for the club. That's got to be the situation, guys. That has to be. So would I. So would I. But yeah, we're a little bit away from that at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it would be great, wouldn't it? It would be great. So we will see. Well, yeah, obviously, and then that's a totally different situation. Right, that's all you want. That's all you want. You know, I want to be sitting here next season saying, "Wow, Garnacho's been great for us." You know, I was so wrong on that. You know, that's what we want to be saying. That's what we want to be saying. Bro, every player that comes, you support them. You know, I don't understand why anyone would be hating someone before they even kicked a ball for us. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, chat. Oh, almost at 200 likes. 182. Guys, let's finish off these final 18 likes. Come on, chat. So, yeah, look, Garnacho's waiting in the background. Jackson and Nkunku outgoings are the main priority, guys. So that's what we're going to be working on this week, I would have thought. That is what we're going to be working on this week, guys. That's what we're waiting for. Potentially, yes, potentially. Well, I don't know the price, but there was some reports that said it was 26 mil. I don't know. No, look, I think there is a market for Nkunku. Clubs do want Nkunku, but maybe not at the price that we're looking for. Maybe not at the price that we're looking for, chat. That's the situation. Probably not at the price we're looking for. Probably not at the price we're looking for. So, yeah, we need to see on that, guys. We need to see on that. We need to see. Look, interest, obviously, Leipzig, Bayern Munich, and there has been talk of clubs in Italy as well, Inter Milan. But yeah, it's a limited market, but there's not no market for him. But yeah, look, whether I think what we've ascertained here is, guys, is that Jackson and Nkunku need to leave before there's any here we goes for Garnacho or Simons. The centre-back situation still being explored, and Chelsea have still got a number of players that they've got to move on in the next 3 weeks. Yes, big up, brother. Yep, see you there. We will be there. They might come to a settlement, potentially. Maybe, they've got 2 years left on their deals. Maybe pay them off 1 year, cancel the other year, potentially come to a settlement agreement, maybe. But yeah, look, as I've maintained all through, I'm not worried about not being able to get rid of these players, chat. We'll get rid of these players. We will. It's just obviously when that's going to happen. But we will get rid of these players, guys. We will. But yeah, look, it's, I think, really, chat, it's pretty positive right now being a Chelsea fan. The window's been pretty decent. The feel around the place is good. We've played well in pre-season. It's been a good summer. Yeah, there's very, very little to complain about right now. Very little to complain about or to be worried about, which is quite different from certainly heading into the previous few seasons. And it's a welcome feeling. A welcome feeling, guys. The vibe around the ground is great. The feeling around the place is good. Really good. Really pleasant environment at the moment, chat. Really pleasant environment. And then obviously the Premier League's here on Sunday. The big game against Crystal Palace. That'll be a tough game, by the way. That will be a tough game. A game that we should be winning, of course. But it won't be easy. It won't be easy, guys. It won't be as easy as what people are making it out to be. Definitely not. Definitely not as easy as what people are making out. It is a big test. Rodrigo, yes. Simons, no. But yeah, look, we need to get chat off to a good start for sure. We need to get off to a good start, keep the good feeling going, and you always want to kick off with a win. You always want to kick proceedings off with a win, chat. And so let's hope that we can. But I'm feeling confident. The team's looking good. The team is looking good. The vibes are good. What's not to like at the moment, chat? What is not to like? These deals will get done. I'm confident about that. And yeah, we can head into the new season feeling content, guys. Feeling content. Bro, we're not going to get Rodrigo because we're not going to pay the wages. We're not going to pay the wages. And that's not the way that we're recruiting, and that's not the way that we're going. You know, and it's been like that it's been quite obvious now for a number of years. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it's not. It hasn't done any harm. But yeah, maybe we didn't need it to get some of those players. I don't know. But I don't look at Chelsea and I'm not like devastated that we're not going to sign Rodrigo. You know, I look at the wide options we've got. They're exciting and I like them. You know, does this team need a Rodrigo? You know, we're going down a different route, and right now this is the best feeling there's been heading into a season. I don't think Rodrigo, you know, is a necessity. No, I don't think so. But yeah, people entitled to their opinions. No problem at all. But yeah, guys, I'm going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's tuned in this afternoon. Appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Appreciate each and every single one of you. As always, great show to kick the week off. I'll be back later on if there's any major news. If not, guys, I'll see all of you lot tomorrow. Please smash the likes on the way out. We are 7 shy of 200. So smash those likes on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. I'd really appreciate it, and it massively helps me out. Enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon, guys. As always, up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.